Midweek stock market update, everyone. I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm having the first date day with my wife in about 5 years. So anyway, that's my midweek stock market update. Price earnings ratios, everything looking bloody expensive. If you take the conventional, boring, basic share price to profitability metric, energy banks looking cheap. Would you get into energy on the basis that oil prices are likely to fall? There might be a global recession, there might not. Would you get into banks? By the way, if you can hear a lot of banging, we're getting extensions built on our home, just adding a helipad and a runway. Now, performance, look at that, right across the board, which seems to oddly make people happy that everything's going up. Look at Tesla. Okay, so whether you're an investor or buying, and remember in January I put on my Telegram channel, my YouTube channel, alpeshpatel.com/links, if you don't know where that is, that Tesla was one of the stocks we were getting into, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon. It's been a flyer of a year for us in those. They didn't all go up. I'll come to some of the ones which didn't, but at least these ones doubled our money at the very least. So the fact that everything's going up is not actually a good sign, because statistically it means rubbish companies must be rising, which is more an indication of a bubble as opposed to a very narrow group. Now, people don't seem to get that, because most people keep repeating things they hear from ill-informed journalists on the internet. Price earnings growth ratio is another measure of valuation, share price compared to the rate at which earnings are growing, and nothing's looking good here. So again, lots of reasons to be cautious in our optimism. How's the market been doing so far this year? Well, as you can see, NASDAQ up, 40% in the first 6 months. I believe that is the best it's done since about 1983. So if you didn't follow me on Telegram and YouTube and on all my links, then you've missed out on having a 40% rise in your pension, because as you know, I buy US stocks. S&P 500's up just 16%, the UK market 7%. Now, there'll be people in the UK who'll say to me, yeah, but what about currency risk? These people, again, keep repeating the same old trash. You don't have currency risk if you're holding a foreign currency and you're holding it for a long period of time, which is what we are doing. We're holding stocks for 12 months and then we'll reevaluate and decide which ones to keep and which ones to replace. And then another 12 months, another 12 months. It's not like you're transferring everything into sterling every week or every day. Got it? You might do it in 10 years. You might do it in 20. I'm not saying you get 40% per annum, but the 6% loss you might get, which would be a pretty extraordinary drop, which happens now and again in a year or half a year, really 40% to the upside, 6% to the downside, if you had to sell in 6 months. And by the way, if you are going to do short term, where you have to change currencies at any point within a year, then absolutely don't bother holding overseas stocks. But if you're looking to be holding them as I have for the last 23 odd years, then you're fine, happy and dandy. And most importantly, don't keep repeating what you hear as cliches on the internet. S&P 500, let's have a look at this. Now, this has done a lot better than I actually thought it would. A lot better than most people thought it would, because it's continued moving up. And you can see it there. I've drawn it on there. I'll see if I can draw the image. There we go. That upward trend, which started actually last year, in hindsight, I didn't see it start there because I thought it might do what it had done previously, which is go up and then fall. It actually went up, fell a bit, and then broke out. And you notice how it made you think, oh, well, here's another false rally, or here's another false rally, and then it really kicked off. Well, we got in January, as you know, from my YouTube channel, so we were convinced that that was the low risk point, and we were right. That was a higher risk point, even though we would have got in better, but that's fine. You balance risk and reward. That's where we are at the moment. Anticipate that still to continue moving up, not least because this monthly MACD, and that's the cheat. That's how we cheat. That's how we can see into the future, as it were, has a long way to go up yet, and that means there's a lot more momentum. The only worrying thing is this monthly stochastic may get overbought very soon and could have downward pressure. However, stochastic, as it tends to do, tends to be overbought for long periods of time. I anticipate that'll happen again, and so you could still continue getting a massive rally to the upside. Why is there a rally? What are the fundamental reasons? There's a few stocks making a lot of profits. That's the reasons why the S&P 500 is going up. A few stocks making a lot of profits, and it's technically devised to reflect that. That's all that's happening, okay? And those few stocks are the ones which we own, which I mentioned in January. Did I know in January that Nvidia was an AI play? No. We just looked at value, growth, income, its profit and loss account, its balance sheet, and its cash flow statements, and those were the things. This is still looking ugly, not interested. We see that having topped off a bit, you see all the banks still loving it. Some room still for upward maneuver, but that's getting smaller and smaller as you'd expect. It's going to hit this upper band, okay? And then it'll sell off. So when it does that, then people can decide whether to take their profits and how much of them at that point. What do all these charts show? Well, as you know, it shows if the price from the current level moved to what the average analyst thinks, that's the return you'd get. I don't look at what average analysts think. I don't look at what analysts think. I'm just showing this for your interest. Okay, that's where we are with things. Now, Alphabet's a bit further than Apple in that it's already had a little bit of a sell-off. That won't last. This will take over. So this fall here is what is causing this to drop. It's the weekly stochastic. It tends to be a bit more sensitive, but it won't last, and that will move back up. If you care what analysts think, they still think a lot to the upside on this. Microsoft, everybody loves Microsoft. So that's going sideways. Even if it were to fall a bit, because the weekly stochastic suggests it might, it won't last and it'll continue on that upward trend. It's as simple as that, okay? It's as simple as that. Would I buy more Microsoft today? Yeah. In fact, I probably should, right? I can't buy enough of it. Forget buying that second, third, fifth home. Forget the private jet. Just buy more Microsoft stock. Right, there we go. That's what's going to happen there. So even if this falls a little bit, which I don't think it will, you're really looking at that kind of trajectory on Amazon. And that's what the analysts think. Disney, flat, still waiting for this to return. Now I get some people asking me, and this is really important, people asking me, well, why do you mention big cap stocks? I want to make my 100% return on companies nobody's heard of. I don't want to make my 100% return on the companies everybody's heard of. It is human nature to be like that. And so when I mention companies that they've heard of, like an Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, and they go up 50 to 100%. People say, no, I don't want my 50 to 100% in those companies. I want them in names nobody's heard of. Give me some small cap names so I can be special and take even more risk and blow my head off. Those people should not be allowed near shotguns. Return potential, 30% on this, so we'll wait and see. Nvidia, now the big decision here is when do we sell and start taking some profits, and you can see it's starting to look extremely toppy. If you're risk loving, you hold on. If you're risk averse, you might sell 10%, 20%, 30% based on how much that drops. If it drops 10%, you might sell all of it if you're risk averse. If it drops 10%, you might sell zero if you're risk loving. It's really up to you. I can't tell you other than in hindsight whether you should be risk loving or risk averse. Personally, I'm risk neutral, so if it drops 10%, I might sell 10, 20% of it. If it drops 20%, I might sell 50% of it. But I'll decide when I have to make that decision. Never make a decision before you need to make a decision. You'll only tie yourself up in knots. It's really bad in trading, investing, or in life. There's still analyst optimism in that, and Tesla, as we've mentioned already. Now, sadly, as I said, I sold a bit of Tesla there. In hindsight, I got it wrong. But then again, if I had a crystal ball, I would never make hindsight errors, would I? But thankfully, it's redeemed itself a bit, and it's making us more money. So that's good, and that's what I said it would do. And if you've been watching me since January on Telegram and YouTube, you'll know that's what I said. And yes, you owe me a drink if you actually listen to me. And if you didn't listen to me, slap yourself in a dark room. Meta shot up, and that's what we're looking at over there. So pretty optimistic, some overbought levels, and you'll get a little bit of a sell back, which is going to cause panic to a lot of people, but if they're watching my broadcast, they'll know it will then resume in that direction. Okay, enjoying Chipotle, continuing upwards. Good, fine, fantastic. Hold it. We'll continue holding it. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's an AI play. ServiceNow is going sideways, but I like it, and I still own it. And did I buy some more? I can't remember. Campaignforamillion.com is where you'll find all my links, and on alpeshpatel.com/links. Let me say that again. alpeshpatel.com/links. Beware of scammers pretending to be me on the internet and messaging you. I never direct message, okay, ever. So it's not me direct messaging you. As I've become incredibly popular on things like TikTok with our 170,000 followers, the scammers are abound. Luckily, we're onto them. We found out everything, including their banking details, so they're going to prison soon. For the rest of you, enjoy my broadcasts. Thank you very much.